Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, your girl, Annabelle, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite scary movies. Given that scary movies are my favorite type of movie to watch, it's hard to pick favorites, but I've got some here and it's Halloween tomorrow, so even if you're not a horror movie fan, it still is fun, especially to watch with a group of friends or something like that. If you want to get into that spooky mood, keep on watching, and then after this video, watch some of the scary movies that I recommend. So the first scary movie that I'm going to recommend is The Conjuring 1 and 2. Those are probably my favorite scary movies of all time because not only are they terrifying, but the way they're filmed, such creative movies, the writing is great, characters are great family dynamic, it's just so fun, and I also love Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are the demonologists. Basically, if you didn't know what the movie is about, it's set in the 1970s, we follow a large family. They had just recently moved into a big house, and they start having really weird experiences, so they seek out help and they go to Ed and Lorraine Warren, they're demonologists, and so they go to the house and they realize it's like a demon infestation. It's wild, it's so good. I love that it's set in the 1970s, and I love the way it's filmed. Like, you know, at the beginning of the movies they always have really great music playing and the camera angles are just so fun. I just love those movies. And I'm just gonna put in Annabelle. I like clump that in with them because, you know, it's like kind of in the same like storyline. Annabelle 1 I didn't like so much, but Annabelle 2, our creation, my girl. I love that movie so much. So scary. I screamed probably like 3 times. Great jump scares. I love that movie so much. I definitely recommend that one. And it just came out like yesterday, so go watch it. Support your girl. The next scary movie that I'm going to recommend to you is Amusement, and it's directed by John Simpson. This movie was released in 2008, and I remember had played that at one of my, I think, yeah, so 7th or 8th grade, I'm not sure, but played it at my birthday party, and there were so many people there, and we had watched that movie and it terrified everybody. We were all scared, and it just had set such a spooky mood for that party. It was just so exciting, and I just remember, like, ever since then it's been one of my favorite scary movies. I haven't seen it in a really long time, but what I remember it being about is we follow 3 different women, and they all fall victim to a kid from their childhood, and he seeks revenge on them for either they had bullied him, or they forgot about him, or they ignored him, or something like that, and he's seeking revenge. He just wants to kill them, basically. So twisted. And the way this guy's mind works is insane, and it's so good though. Like, you know, it's twisted and dark, but really good, and I remember had loved that, and I do want to actually rewatch it and see if I still love it. Next scary movie I'm recommending is Dead Silence. It's directed by James Wan, and it was released in 2007. My dad actually went and took me to this movie with my sister, and I remember, because in the movie you're not supposed to scream, because if you scream then the scary girl in this, Mary Shaw, will rip out your tongue, but I screamed numerous times in this one. This movie follows a young couple. I believe they were just married or something, and the husband gifts his wife a ventriloquist doll that she's been wanting for a while. But that night, unfortunately, she's murdered, and somehow he believes it's linked to the doll. So he goes to the town where the doll is from. He finds out that this famous ventriloquist back in the day was murdered. Her name was Mary Shaw, and her presence basically looms over the town. So he seeks out, like, trying to find what is going on, and he goes to the mortician, and the mortician is just like, don't bring it up, don't dredge up the past, because if you do, bad things are gonna happen. And bad things happen. It's very good. I love this movie so much. It's sort of silly, but scary at the same time, and I just love movies with dolls in them. The next scary movie that I'm recommending is Stay Alive. It's directed by William Brent Bell, and it was released in 2006. So this movie, we follow a group of teenagers. They find this really cool game. They start to play it all together, but then all of their friends start to die, or like whoever dies in the game dies in real life that way. And so then they realize, well, what the hell? We gotta stop. We gotta figure out what's going on. I kind of forget, because it's a woman who's like this scary presence of the movie. And I just remember that she really wanted to stay young, and so by staying young she killed young girls and bathed in their blood. And I know that that sounds freaking horrible, but it was just such a fun game, and the idea of if you die in the game, you die in real life, just interesting and fun. You should watch it. The next movie I recommend is The Woman in Black 1. This is directed by James Watkins, and it was released in 2012. Daniel Radcliffe plays the main character. His name is Arthur Kipps. He's a lawyer, and his wife had recently died, so he's dealing with that. He's sent to this remote town to deal with the affairs of this recently deceased woman, and the house that she lives in is called the Marsh House. It's again just a house that gives a really ominous presence to the entire town. No people in the village like to talk about this town, and when he goes there, everyone's like, you should go home, do not go in the house, do not go in the house. So naturally, he doesn't listen, and he goes to the house. And as he's uncovering documents, he starts to dredge up her past and put pieces together of why everyone in the town steers clear of her, doesn't talk about her, and he finds out that her son was taken away from her because people of the town believe that she wasn't fit to be a mother, and so her sister got custody of her son, but when her son was in the sister's custody, the son died in the marsh, and the marsh is in front of their house. It's like a sinkhole, basically. And his body was never recovered, and basically she just like died of grief. So fast forward to the present, he starts to see things, weird things start happening in the house, and I won't talk about it anymore because it's spooky, it's scary, and I love it's set like in the Victorian era. It's just very interesting. I actually did like The Woman in Black too. It's set during World War II, and the house is used as a sort of refuge for kids. That was good, but I liked the first one a bit better. Next movie that I recommend is Orphan. This is directed by, I don't know how to say this word or this name, Jaume Colette Serra. Totally butchered that. This one was released in 2009. We follow a couple, and they have just recently lost a child, so they are devastated about it. So they seek out adopting a little girl, and they bring her home. I kind of forget how many kids they have originally. I think they just have one son, but maybe they have a daughter, I'm not sure. But basically they adopt this little girl, and you know, everything seems fine and dandy, but that little girl is freaking crazy. And stuff starts to happen, and there is a twist in this movie that you do not see coming. It is terrifying, it's freaking weird, so disturbing, but so good. So those are all the scary movies that I'm gonna go kind of sort of into depth on. Because I have this little Halloween journal that I made, and I wrote like my favorite scary movies in them. But some that I didn't mention are like Halloween from 1978, also It 2017. Like the old one was fun, spooky, but I thought that this one was funny and spooky. It was so good. I love that movie. Shining, great movie. And then if you want to watch not scary movies, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of all of these, but I wrote them down in here. And so my favorites are to watch like during October spooky season are Beetlejuice, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, Hocus Pocus, Witches, Practical Magic, The Haunted Mansion, Sleepy Hollow 1999, Corpse Bride, Edward Scissorhands, The Addams Family, Halloween Town, of course Harry Potter, Casper, and Monster House. So those are my scary movie recommendations. If you want to tell me yours, I would love to know, or if you've seen any of these and you like love them as much as I do, or you didn't, I'd love to know that as well. Yeah, if you have any scary movie recommendations, please tell me down below. I hope you have a wonderful, spooky, safe Halloween, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.